Friends, nowadays you must have come across a viral news which is going on regarding the construction of Ram Mandir. So, as far as this mandir is concerned, it has been said that exotic pink sandstones are being imported from Bansi Pahad near Bharatpur, Rajasthan, right? And it has also been said that only marble and copper would be used in the construction of this temple. No cement, sand, or iron will be used in it. And it will be based on 212 pillars. Now, the concept of why iron pillars are not used and why copper pillars are used is very direct. Since iron has a tendency to undergo corrosion, right? So, in the coming years, we can say the structure can collapse or it can damage in that terms. So, to make it more or impart it more strength instead of iron pillars, architects use copper pillars. And this is not only the example for this newly formed or newly undergoing formation of Ram Mandir, it has been observed in various ancient temples like Somnath Mandir as well, whereby they have constructed the complete temple on the basis of the copper pillars. Now the question comes, can it be done in absence of cement? So the latest news about this is been given by the architect Sompura, who is working on this construction. He said, no, this news is wrong. In absence of cement, a complete strength cannot be provided to the structure, right? And in this particular video, we are going to find out what is the importance of cement in construction of any kind of temple or in construction of any kind of structure which is huge and extravagant structure and which needs to withstand in the coming years as well. So let us find out what is the importance of cement here. Cement may be broadly described as a material possessing cohesive and adhesive property and capable of bonding materials like stones, bricks, blocks, etc. Right? As far as composition of cement is concerned, it is majorly made up of calcium oxide 62%, alumina 5%, silica 22%, calcium sulfate 4%, ferric oxide or iron oxide 3%, magnesium oxide 2%, sulfur in a minute amount of 1%, and some portion of alkalis about 1%. Okay. Now, as far as the setting action of cement is concerned, that is a very important concept for the use of cement in any kind of manufacturing or production purposes. So let us see that setting action of cement. How does it work? The action of changing mixed cement from a fluid state to a solid state is called setting of cement, and time required for it to set is called the setting time of cement. Okay. Now, the main concept of the action which we start here, a cement is taken and water is added. Now, during this initial process, there is an important role of adding gypsum. Now, what is the role of this gypsum? Adding gypsum in the cement is to slow down the hydration process of cement once it is mixed with water. What can happen here? If we are not adding the gypsum, the cement will set immediately after mixing of water, leaving no time for concrete placing. Okay, so here gypsum also plays a very important role during the setting action. In addition, the various ingredients which we have seen in reference to the composition of cement, lime, silica, iron oxides, these are the ones which impart strength to the cement. Alumina is the one which gives the quick setting property in reference to the cement, right? Now, how the process works. So here, at the initial stage, there is a formation of tricalcium aluminate, as you can see here. So this tricalcium aluminate, the molecular formula is as represented, 3 moles of CaO, Al2O3. This is called as an initial setting or a flash setting. That means as soon as you mix cement with water, hydration will take place. And whose hydration is going to take place? Hydration of the tricalcium aluminate will take place, right? After that, there is also a formation of tetracalcium aluminoferrite, right? This particular compound, the chemical compound, is also formed immediately as soon as cement is interacted with water. Next is the formation of tricalcium silicate. This is an important material which is produced within 1 or 2 weeks, right? And as soon as this compound is produced, it provides hardening to the cement. And one more chemical compound which you can see here is the dicalcium silicate. It is also responsible for imparting extreme hardness to the cement in the longer duration of time. Okay, then next we'll see what is the importance of water and the existence of this particular chemical compounds which are formed. So the process of hardening of cement can be depicted in this way. So the tricalcium aluminate interacts with water in this form, resulting in the formation of an hydrated tricalcium aluminate. At the same time, heat of hydration is released. What is the amount released here? 880 kilojoules per kilogram. So it is a high amount of heat of hydration, the high amount of energy which is released, right? And this particular tricalcium aluminate is responsible for the initial setting of cement. The next important role is played, as shown, by tricalcium silicate. So this tricalcium silicate again interacts with water, resulting in a formation of a crystallized calcium hydroxide and a formation of an compound which is known as an tobermonite gel. Okay, and this tobermonite gel formation is an important step whereby imparting a strength, imparting hardness to the particular cement structure in the initial 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, then further, definitely dicalcium silicate plays its important role for hardening of cement during a longer duration, resulting in maximum ultimate strength, right? So I hope the concept is clear why cement is so important in construction of any extravagant huge structure formation, right? That is due to its strengthening process which goes on increasing day by day due to formation of such an chemical compounds interacting with the water molecules which have been inbuilt within the structure. Okay, so that's for the just knowledge updating. Thank you for watching.